Hey guys, this is Jordan here. This is my first video for YouTube. This channel is going to be about talking about depth psychology, a lot of Jungian analysis, some topics that I have some interest in. This first episode is going to be about the Jungian analysis of a Simpsons episode. A Simpsons episode labelled episode 9 from season 8, The Mysterious Voyage of Homer. It's an episode I remember watching as a younger person, not thinking very much of it, but this YouTube episode that I'm creating today is going to delve a little deeper into it, into the psychology behind it. I've also put, how can I use a laser pointer? Also got a picture I made with Copilot, Microsoft's AI of Carl Jung as a Simpsons character. Anyways, let's get into it. So, episode starts off with Homer at home, and he's bored, and Marge doesn't want him to go to the chili show because last year he previously he got drunk and made a fool of himself. Obviously, the show needs some inspiration. He ends up going to the chili show. He finds out about it and he goes. Chilies can be a symbol of the spice of life. Stepping outside of routines, keeping things fresh, excitement. And it's quite the juxtaposition to how the episode starts with Homer at home, sitting on the couch, bored, reading the newspaper. You can see here we've got Chief Wiggum holding the magical chili, which Homer actually eats and then begins to hallucinate and enters his unconscious or the dream world in the episode. So the chili looks quite magical. This is Homer after he's eaten the chili from Chief Wiggum and he's starting to go into the dream world, the depths of his unconscious. We're going to look at the psychology behind that. This is Homer, as you can see down here. He's in the dream state. He's in his unconscious. He's walking around some desert, scarce area. I'm sure there's some symbolism, some ideas behind that desert, and what that may be. Out of nowhere, a big butterfly comes in and swoops him. Butterflies are symbols of personal growth, transformation, evolution, which is basically what the episode is about. It's Homer going on a journey and transforming and evolving as a human being. So we'll get into that a little bit more as the slides go on. The next thing that happens to Homer in the dream world, he is confronted by this large yellow and black snake. He's literally confronted as they look dead on at each other. If this was to happen in someone's dream, this may be a symbol of repressed trauma, emotions, anger, something in the shadow that demands confrontation. So that, just a quick take, the idea behind the shadow is it's basically everything that you neglect in your psyche, and it gets put into the shadow. So it gets put behind you. You try to repress it, but never fully gets repressed. It comes out and demands attention at certain points, and this snake here could be a symbol of that. So Homer facing his shadow. This is a little side note. You've got here Helen Lovejoy and Reverend Lovejoy talking to Marge. This scene occurs when Marge is looking for Homer and she bumps into these two, and they're quite Christian characters. You've got Reverend Lovejoy, who's obviously like a symbol of Christianity within the show, but we kind of know that that's not really him. He's a little bit I probably shouldn't say that. It's more Helen Lovejoy. She's I don't know if she's kind of like Reverend Lovejoy's shadow or what, but she's very passive aggressive. She's a bit nasty in this scene. She can't wait to tell Marge that Homer's been a jackass and he's made a fool of himself. And it's just a little ironic because her last name is Lovejoy, and she's obviously not very loving, and you probably wouldn't say joyous either. So she's also not very Christian. She can't wait to tell Marge that Homer's made a fool of himself, and to glee in her face and to see what Marge thinks of that. As you can see, Marge is obviously not enjoying it. It's just interesting because when you repress these characteristics, like when you try to be so Christian, so good, you passively, your dark side can come out. And that's why Carl Jung said that he would rather be whole than be good. Interesting little take there. Okay, so back to the dream world. We've got Homer here, and he comes across a coyote. I'm sure there's some symbolism behind the coyote. Animals can symbolize instincts in dreams. I know in Native American, the coyote is quite an important character, I believe. So I'm sure there's some information regarding that people could look up themselves. So Homer kind of meets the coyote here, and they have a discussion, and the coyote kind of tells him that to make himself complete, he needs to find his soulmate, which is interesting. The coyote can be seen as a trickster archetype, teaching through chaos. Interestingly, Homer believes his soulmate is Marge, and he kind of tells the coyote that in this little scene, and the coyote kind of makes him reconsider that fact with kind of some rhetorical questions, and kind of says, "Well, is it?" And Homer's kind of thinking about that here. Let's talk a bit about this idea about soulmates. So here we've got Carl Jung's kind of diagram of the psyche. You've got the outer world, the inner world. So let's start over. So if this was someone's psyche, you've got the outer world, you've got the inner world, you've got the unconscious, and you've got the collective unconscious and consciousness, which is everyone else's consciousness. It's kind of a hard topic to explain. You've got your ego, you've got your persona, which is the mask that you put on for the world. You've got the self, which according to Carl Jung kind of directs your life, and is the strongest part of this psyche. You can see how large it is, and in the center, it's kind of like the thing that, it's like I heard someone explain it quite well one time. It's like your heart pumps and your lungs, they go up and down, and they pull oxygen in and out of the body. And the self is kind of like that too. It's like a part of the psyche that kind of organizes itself, and you don't realize it pushes you to places and gets you to do things kind of unknowingly. You've got the shadow, which we spoke about earlier, which is kind of everything that you've put behind you. Everything you've kind of neglected in your life. It could be anger. It could be something like when you're a child and your parents say, "Don't be angry. Don't be like that to others." So you repress your anger, and then it comes out, and you're a school shooter one day, shooting up a school. So it's important to try and be whole and understand that anger has an importance too. Anger is what can protect other people and protect yourself and drive you, give you energy. So it's important not to get overwhelmed by anger, but to acknowledge its importance. Down here you've got the animus and anima. So the anima is the female aspects of someone's psyche. Yep, so the anima is kind of the female aspects of someone's psyche, and the animus is the male. So you've got this kind of yin-yang thing going on here. You've got the male, you've got the, you've got the female. The word anima is a Latin word, and it means soul, breath or life force. So that's what the female aspect is, the soul in this case. The animus is a little different. That translates in Latin to spirit. So the man is the spirit, and the woman is the soul. Sorry, this camera's packed up front. A man who rejects his anima may struggle to express his emotions. He may over-intellectualize, and he may fall in love with an idealized fantasy of a woman. It can be dangerous to reject or neglect your anima or animus. The anima is the man's inner woman. It represents emotion, intuition, relatedness, creativity, and soulfulness. So all those good things that you would probably relate to a feminine energy, a typical feminine energy. In an undeveloped state, she might appear in dreams or projections as a seductress, a damsel, a witch, or emotional storm. In a mature state, she becomes a guide to the self, representing wisdom, interconnection, and emotional integration. The animus is the woman's inner man, and it kind of represents all those typical kind of man things and interests. So it represents logic, assertiveness, strength, will, reason, and spiritual drive. Excuse me. In an undeveloped state, the animus might appear as a bully, overly rational critic, or rigid authority figure. So all those things that you've seen men become when they lose their soul. In a mature state, he becomes an inner voice of strength and insight, guiding a woman to a deeper truth and autonomy. A woman who rejects her animus may feel powerless, fear independence, or become overly critical under stress. Why do these things matter? So Carl Jung, as we kind of spoke about before, believed that we must integrate our anima and animus to become whole. This is part of This is part of individuation, the journey to becoming your true self. We may project our anima or animus onto others, especially romantic partners, seeing in them what we haven't accepted or developed in ourselves. There's a great book by Robert Johnson, this psychology of romantic love, that kind of gets deeper into these topics that I highly recommend. About romantic love and projections and your anima and animus. By working with these archetypes, you can develop emotional depth and rational clarity and will. Kind of got some nice pictures here. You've got the animus here, the male side, and he's the sun, the spirit, consciousness. You've got the woman here. She's standing on the moon, which is, she's got to do with the soul and unconsciousness or night. Interesting. Okay, so Homer's spoken to the coyote. It's kind of, the coyote's made him reconsider, who is your soulmate? And he's kind of thinking about that, and he kind of wakes up from his dream state. This train kind of hits him, which symbolises the inner conflict he's now facing. Who is my soulmate? This train kind of appears out of nowhere and obviously runs him over, metaphorically speaking, and he wakes up. He then goes on a journey to try and find his soulmate, to try and find his anima. He walks into Moe's tavern, but is disappointed when he realises his soulmate is not in a male-filled bar. Does not exist in here. Kind of asks everybody, "Are you my soulmate?" And they kind of tell him, "No, I'm your friend, I'm your colleague, I'm your compadre," or whatnot. there's Homer, disappointed, walking around the streets looking for his soulmate, his Anima. Homer then, after walking around, it's raining. He's in a storm. There's a lot of inner conflict. He he sees a lighthouse. The lighthouse can be a symbol of a guiding light of consciousness within the darkness. So Homer kind of decides. He says, "Oh, my soulmate. That's someone who understands me. That's the lonely lighthouse keeper. I need to go over and meet him. He'll understand my path. He'll understand my story. The other lonely soul out there." So he jumps in the water, or he walks over the rocks or somehow, and he gets to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is when he gets to the door, he's kind of like, "Oh, my soulmate is Earl." Typical, very masculine name. Again, this will not be his soulmate. He will be let down. It will not be Earl. As you can see, he's let down, and it's kind of Matt Groening or the Simpsons writers kind of do it in a funny way. It's Earl. It's electronic, automatic, robotic lighthouse. Excuse me, and sorry for all the coughing. I don't know what's going on. A frog in my throat. Earl, electronic, automatic, robotic lighthouse. He's disappointed. This isn't what I thought it would be. Again, this isn't. Earl is not my soulmate. Earl is a soulless computer, you could say. Homer then spirals, and he kind of goes into a bit of madness, and he sees a ship. There's a ship coming. I should have included a picture of the ship. He sees a ship coming, and he says, "Oh, I know. Like I'll force this ship to crash, and then I can meet all the people, and we can be friends." So that kind of happens. So he throws a fire extinguisher at the globe in the lighthouse, which kind of plunges him into darkness. It's very symbolic of that. He's kind of gone mad from trying to find his soul, from trying to find his anima, which can happen. So yeah, he launches the fire extinguisher into the lamp, and then it all goes dark. He's plunged into darkness. He is lost without his anima, without his soul. Kind of got the crazy eyes going on here. He's kind of he's lost it, which can happen. An out of balance person, this can happen. But he's not lost for too long. Marge appears as a source of light. His anima, Marge. Well, I suppose he's projected anima, but symbolically in this show, this is his anima turning up. He's his opposite. Homer's kind of wild, reckless character. She's not wild, she's not reckless, she's pretty level-headed. She's his opposite. She is his soul. He is the spirit, and she is the soul, and it's clearly obvious when watching the show. Homer's happy. He has reclaimed his soul. He's found his anima. They have a bit of chit chat with each other, and Marge and Homer literally finish each other's sentences saying, "It's like you're from Venus and you're from Mars." Mars and Venus, the two archetypes for male and feminine energy. Very symbolic. Marge has to save the day. They know the ship's still coming. It's still going to crash, and they need to get a new globe up there. They need to reclaim consciousness and shine light onto the darkness. It's super symbolic, this episode. Like, when you really pull it apart, like, unknowingly, it's been written that way, and it's it's just full of this. She gets the globe out of the box, and she runs it up the ladder, and she puts it back in, and the ship still does crash, and I believe that's just due to it being The Simpsons and it's a joke. And ship crashes, and there's kind of a joke about the ship's stocked with hot pants, or short shorts, and I don't know, the people of Springfield run out into the water and reclaim the short shorts and put them on, and it's kind of a silly song plays, like it's kind of a funny ending, but nonetheless, she still lights up the consciousness, Homer's consciousness of his reclaiming his soul. And then we're kind of left with, after the globe goes back in, they're standing in front of it, and obviously they're kissing. It's a meeting of the anima and animus, and it's kind of like a yin yang symbol. You've got the light and the dark, and it's like a harmonious kind of thing, and it's clearly psychological, and yeah, this is the symbol of the anima and the animus together in wholeness. Um, yeah, it's very interesting, just kind of like a yin and yang picture, and then the episode kind of ends. So that's about it really. So I hope you've enjoyed that. This being my first video, kind of going into the psychology of the Simpsons. I plan to do Simpsons and many other topics or TV shows or even movies. There's a lot of psychological depth in things that we don't realise or we don't see, but when you pull back the layers, it's full of it, and it's very interesting. So thanks for joining in, and hoping to see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.